Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the State of FEH Podcast. We are on episode 35. I'm your host, DTM, and I'm joined by Oblivion Knight and Joel from Phaeology, as always. How are you two doing this fine evening?
I'm very excited. It's been a very fun month of FEH just because it's January, but also Monster Hunter's coming soon, so I'm about to disappear for a very long time.
I thought you were just going to flat out say that at the beginning, and I was like, oh boy. But yeah, obviously. Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, that's just, who cares about that? I mean,
oh my god,
she won. Yeah. She actually won.
Yes. CYL 9 results have came out, and Sharena is actually the winner of the female side. This is something.
I'm talking about Baldur. Wait, what? We're talking about Baldur, right?
It's both Sharena and Baldur. But how you're feeling, Joel? Like, this is something you've been, I guess, dreaming about for a while, right?
My first thought is, what am I going to do next year? Like, that's...
Join Team Tellius.
Join Team Awakening. We need all the help we can get right now.
For who? For what unit? You have everybody you could possibly want. You're good.
I tell you what, I'm going to pull an Oblivion, and I'm going to do an entire stream, and the chat basically gets to figure out who I'm going to push for.
You're going to get like a Bisque Keeper or something like that.
Oh, I can already see the meme votes rising with that. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting, though, having chat decide who you're going to vote for.
Oh, it would be. So here's the problem. Like, okay, it happened. It's amazing. Now I have this whole different set of anxiety that's like, oh my God, is she going to be any good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. All I can say is, like, set your expectations super low, like I did with Felix. I was like, okay, IS hates Felix. He's going to be bad. And then he was actually good. And I was like, oh, this is nice. This is a good feeling.
Yeah.
I'm so worried I'm going to get a Gatekeeper. Like, that's...
I mean, I think if you get a Gatekeeper, you should be pretty happy because, like, he's decent, like, and he's lasted a while. What you should be scared of is if you get a Tiki. Now that's where you're like, oh yes.
Yeah.
Poor Tiki.
Poor Tiki indeed. I guess, like, what would be your dream for a brave Sharena for IS to make? Joel?
Okay, let's talk about what my not dream would be. And I think I could work with anything except for ranged armor, because they just constantly crap on those poor units. Like, they do not like ranged armors at all. So nope. That is my one fear. Like, don't do that to me.
That was what I was gonna bring up. I was like, she'd be cool if she's a ranged armor. Then you said that. Oh man.
Yeah, ranged armors are not. I don't think they've ever been good, if I'm completely honest. At least from the time I've been playing.
Moments, it's Harmonic Marth? No, it's Dual Marth. Dual Marth, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Winter Marth, yes.
Winter Marth. Sorry, that's right.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was back when Legendary Male Robin was the king, and it was such a great time. Like, I miss those days.
Unity stacking. Oh man.
Those were the days.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because I think Sharena probably, out of the four, she probably has the most options, right? Like, you can go Alphonse route, Henriette route, Veronica route, and there's probably some other route they could choose as well. So I think there's a lot of good options for her. I think it's just like a roll of the dice to see what she gets. And to see if she like tries to keep any of her identity, because with Alphonse, like, we really had like dual Alphonse, I guess, to like pull from, but it wasn't that much. But with Bridal Sharena, there's actually like some stuff she can do, like with the extra actions. So they kind of go that same route. I feel like that's gonna have a higher chance of her being good, right?
Absolutely. I mean, extra actions, they never go bad. Like I
Right.
still see. Well, I mean, we've all seen Satachi's OG Edelgard that PM1 has declared is the worst Edelgard.
I was dying when I heard that. I was rolling so hard.
Yeah. I mean, if extra actions does become Sharena's like niche, has she? I guess the only previous Sharena ult was the Bunny Sharena, right?
Yeah.
So that's not a lot to go from, that seasonal and the base. So yeah, bridal is like the one with the, I guess, most recent precedence. So it'll be interesting to see if they do something like a Felix 2.0 or something like that with Sharena. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think if they stick, because like I think even like between Felix and like Edelgard and like some of the other units, right? They all have different types of extra actions, kind of, right? Like Edelgard's are all aggressive combat actions,
right?
But Sharena's are like actually like helpful, assisting, right? She can like assist and then still get an extra action. So I think if they kind of explore that route, it not only like thematically fits Sharena as a helper, but also like is really powerful. So I think that would be cool.
And stays good for a long time. That's
the
other thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm very, very excited to see what Sharena does. I guess before we like move on to the other winners, because there were other winners, surprisingly, besides Sharena.
Yes.
Like just on the top of your head, Joel, like movement type and weapon, what would you ideally want for Sharena?
Man, you're gonna push me on this, aren't you? So the units that if you look at them, the units that stay good the longest are the melee armors, but I don't think they're gonna do that to her. I do worry about nukes. It depends on. So that's basically you want the thing that is so good right now is supportive nukes. That is that is the archetype that is just amazing right now. So that would be my hope. And I mean that was Spring Sharena. And if you remember in her day, she wasn't too bad. But I mean, yeah, she's gonna need something really special like Robin to really, really stand out in that category. If they did some kind of extra action Gale Force, like her on a horse, or I would love them to go in the Veronica direction and really, really push her that way. But yeah, they could even go the Peony direction and make her a dancer. So that would, I love dancers, so I wouldn't mind that at all. But it's like Oblivion was saying, there's actually a lot to pull from for her.
Yeah. Sharena is definitely one of the ones with a lot of options that we can see going. For some of these other ones, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I guess for Byleth, they'll probably just copy paste female Byleth and have him in the Sothis Regalia.
Please, God, Naga, whoever you pray to, like, don't do that. Oh my gosh. There's like 5 people who want that, but like, ugh.
Right. Like, I just do not like the Sothis Regalia, like, at all. It's
nope.
I think it just looks ugly. Like,
it's ugly. It's ugly.
It looks like a jester outfit. It just, yeah.
I think they actually did pretty good with it on female bottles. Like the artist put in work, as what I would put it as.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Naturally, that does not look good.
Yeah, which, I mean, even with all that work put into it, I still don't think it looks good, even in the official Brave art. I don't know. It's just way too complicated. And yeah, it's just too messy, in my opinion. So I was really hoping that they would go the Gerald route, personally. Maybe they'll do that with male Byleth, but I guess Brave Robin sort of set a precedence. So hopefully...
Yeah, but they could break it. They could break it.
They
must have seen the backlash, right? They must have seen the backlash to that outfit. There's no way they didn't, right? So, like, I'm going to hope for Geralt. I think that would be cool. And then you could also have a more different Byleth instead of, like... Because we have Mage Byleth, we have Sword Byleth. Like, we have a lot of that, right? So, like, a Cav Lance Byleth, that'd be kind of cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Hopefully they do something different. And, like, not be uncreative. But CYL 4 sort of, like, dampened myself on creativity when it comes to Three Houses stuff. So, we'll see.
They can just give him another Levin sword.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'll never live that
Imagine. I'll be honest, I don't know what they're going to do with these other two, Icthanir and Baldur. I mean, I guess for Icthanir, actually, I don't know.
Like the trade dude route. Like they could do that, or they could do
absolutely.
Like, they could make him like any of the other siblings. I don't think it would be that big of a deal. Will it be interesting though? I don't know.
I think it all hinges on whether they're they get out of their box a little bit and they make him a beast unit. If they make him not a beast unit, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, same. I'm so tired of this. Like, I'm so tired of Duo Asker and Duo Hathor not being beast. Like, it feels so bad. It's like we still don't have a Duo beast yet.
Right.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
I guess, yeah. Thinking about it, we do have like dual dragons and
A lot.
a lot of dual dragons, right? Including one we'll talk about soon. But yeah, for Icthanir, I mean, Icthanir so far has only been Beast. I mean, granted, it's only been 2 ults, so it's not a lot to work off of, but
Right.
it would be interesting, like what type of Beast Icthanir will be. As far as outfits, I don't think they'll do Tree Man, because generally, like, these Braves are references to, like, a high point or something like that, which I don't think the Rather would be for Icthanir. Maybe it'll probably be either... It's one of the healing hands, probably, like either Ratatoskr or Hathorn or something like that. I could see that.
They're gonna nerf Nidhogger, and then, like, the next banner will be Icthanir. He's dressed as Nidhogger, and it's just better. And it's like, oh,
right. Hey, we could get a beast armor theoretically. That could be cool.
Ugh. I think I've had enough beast armors recently.
Yeah, I think we all have.
Yep.
My concern is they do Hathrin and they make him a tome.
Oh,
that is.
And they give him
I don't want
nectar
that.
and bonus doubler bonus stuff. Oh god. Man.
Yeah. Let's not manifest that timeline.
And they'll work Miracle in there too, like just to get the trifecta.
No more Miracle from anyone, please.
Yeah. Balder, granted, this is because she's like very new, so there's not a lot to work off of. But what are you predicting Balder will be like based off of, or like?
I don't know what they'll really do. Like, they could do her sister, I guess, but like we don't have her sister yet, so we don't really have like a good point of reference, right? So I don't really know what they can do. Like, her effect now in the game is like she can convert bonuses to penalties on the foes. So maybe they'll do the opposite. And like, instead of that, it would be like convert like penalties on your teams to bonuses. I don't know. Like, mechanically, they can do stuff to make her like different than her base version. But like, thematically, I have no clue, right? Like, maybe they'll do something in the story and then they could have a launching point to do something from there. But until then, like, it's like, okay, I don't know. I mean, if they just want to give her a gun, I'm fine with that. Like, that's good enough for me.
Oh, remember the innocent times where everyone was up in arms that Reagan had a gun and that Fire Emblem had gone too far. A long way from that.
I remember that because first it was fairies, and I was like, fairies, really? And then it was mechs, and I was like, well, at least I like mechs.
I mean, I don't even know what it would be like to be there when Book 3 got revealed and seeing that just like drastic heavy metal as that.
Book 3 was hype. Book 3 was hype. It came out of nowhere.
Right.
It literally came out of nowhere, and it was just like crazy intense, and it was just like, how do I not like this? Like, it was so cool.
But I mean, you heard like Fire Emblem suddenly changed into Screamo, and it just blasted your ears. I'm like, okay, I mean, this the metal version of Alphonse. I can do this.
Yeah, especially after Book 2 too, like, because Book 1 was pretty like bland. Let's be real.
Yeah,
like, there wasn't much going on there. Book 2 was like, okay, like, we're getting some stuff here with like Fjorm and stuff, and then Book 3 just took it to a whole new level. So it was like, oh, right. Okay, I'm down for this. And then Book 4 hit, and I was just like, what happened? Like, we overcorrected. Like, this is a bit much.
Book 2 was kind of dark. I mean, they barbecued Gunthra.
They killed like everyone. Like, how many characters actually died? Like, they resurrected people, obviously, but like at the end of Book 2, Fjorm was dying, Gunthra was dead, Legyarn was dead. Hellbendi was dead.
We thought Hellbendi was dead. I think didn't he turn out not to be dead?
Well, he was dead, but they were like, let's bring him back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, let's write. They left a loophole for them to get him out, essentially. Yulgur was alive. I think Levitane was alive, right? It was like Levitane and Yulgur were like the only two that were like actually alive, and Fjorm was dying. He was like, oh crap.
Yeah. I remember all those deaths because like since I started on Book 4, I like binged through Book 2 back to back to back, and it was like pretty much once every 10 minutes someone was dying. I was like, okay, there goes another one. There goes another one.
Oh man.
Yeah, probably not the way it was meant to be played, but oh well, that was my experience.
I think it was better that way, probably, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Maybe. But yeah.
I feel like I go so far between chapters that I can't remember what the last one was. I'm like, okay, what were the 2 lines of story that I got 2 months ago?
Let me go reread it. Take 1 second. Like, okay, got it.
Go through the wiki, just breeze through the dialogue. I mean, going back to the Baldur discussion after we jumped off of that, I do think that they will probably have some developments in the story that will lead to a natural theme for the CYL version, whether that's based off of I don't know, Odin or not Odin, Alfador, because Odin's in Fates now,
right?
Or that mysterious library lady or something like that. I guess we'll have to wait and see on what they do with these CYL9 units, because we have 3 OCs and 1 3 houses unit. So I remember back when Govek won, it was OCs in Fire Emblem Brave CYL blasphemy, and now it's just standard.
I think that's one thing we haven't talked about when it comes to CYL is the fact that Engage got swept again. There's literally no engagement again, which I think is absurd.
It is.
Losing the first year is already bad because that's when you should be at the hypest, right? The highest point of hype. But losing the second year when everybody who wants to vote for Engage knows now to vote, you know what I mean? And they still lose, and not by a little bit. If you look at the votes, they lost by a pretty hefty margin. Diamant was the highest male, I believe, and he was really far down. He's 5th or 6th place. And when it comes to the females, Ivy was still several thousand votes below. So, I think Engage is dead. You have to bring out Sami to be votable for you to actually get an Engage winner, which is crazy.
Do you think they would make Sami votable?
No, I don't. But I think that's what it would take essentially. You would need the ultimate meme character to get it to work, because I
wouldn't put anything past them. They might do that.
I guess it depends on how much they need Engage to win. Do they need Engage to win, or do they not care? You know what I mean?
I don't think they need Engage to win. CYL has been rolling for a while, and I don't think there's I don't know what financial incentive there would be to have that, since CYL is just one banner, right? And theoretically, it's the people that are the most voted. So theoretically, it's the most wanted units, right? So I don't know why IS would. I guess having Sami there would be good to have a Sami that would sell super hard. So maybe that would be their emergency button. But yeah. CYL 9 has happened, and we have these heroes. Congratulations, Joel, again for Sharena. Finally winning after all these years. I guess next year, surely Anna will be here to complete the trio, right?
Nope.
Look, Fedison can
forgot to
hear.
say-
Okay.
If I see
I
Anna
forgot one
propaganda,
thing.
I'm actively turning against it. Anti.
Oblivion, to your point about Engage being dead, it wasn't, to me, it isn't CYL that marks that Engage is not doing well. It's the difference between the 3 Houses banner and the Unaka banner. And
I haven't seen
obviously
that, actually.
we don't have numbers for that yet, but I was looking at just performance of videos on those, and they were drastically different. It's So that to me is the biggest signal that Engage is really not doing well at this point.
Struggling, yeah.
To be fair, I guess that Engage banner just had it was basically just Unaka that was super super popular, right?
It's true.
And then the Valentine's banner, we got all the hard hitters. Plus it was coming off of CYL hype and everything. So I don't think it's completely fair to compare those two situations.
Yeah, I guess that's one point. Another point is it wasn't even. Not only was it not the greatest Engage characters, it was also the DLC characters, which a lot of people just didn't play, right?
Right.
So it's I don't know why they decided that, to be honest, because I feel there's so many Engage characters we still don't have. If for them to go for the DLC cast,
that is true.
It seems kind of crazy, especially because the 3 Houses DLC cast hasn't really gotten much love at all, right? We have 2 Yuris, and then everybody else has one version. So it's interesting to see how they treat the different DLCs.
Well, they thought Yunaka was going to carry. Like I'm telling you, that was the theory.
Was it Yunaka though, or was it the cat? Because I think it was the cat.
That cat's pretty great. I mean, that's if it was just Yunaka, I honestly wouldn't have summoned. Then I saw the cat, I guess I'm sparking.
Literally for me, it was the cat. I was just like, well, I mean, it does backflips. Like, how do you not vote for that? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, I know people that literally just summoned because of the cat, which was like, I guess IS finally cracked the code on these aided accessories. So there we go, I guess. To your point, though, I think one single unit just can't carry a banner like by itself. Like you need, unless they're like literally like the most popular character of them all, like Edelgard. Yes.
I was thinking that. I was like, I bet Edelgard can carry a banner easy. Like, I bet it's not even a challenge. Right. I could carry a banner. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of characters who can carry a banner. Like, it's just, I don't think Engage can do it, personally. Like, because who's, like, the most popular character from Engage, like, statistically? Is it Ivy? Or
I think it's Ivy at this point.
I think it's Ivy, yeah.
I don't think
no, it's Alir. What am I saying? It's Alir.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take.
I mean, Winter Melier is popping off in Summer's duels right now, so maybe actually. Yeah. Okay, I will say one of the moving to a different topic. Back to that CYL Faye channel. One of the most greatest things from that, honestly, to me, is this otherworldly bond that they gave for free. Like, oh my goodness, that has been so good. Even though I have not gotten anything yet, I still super value it because, I mean, I thought that was going to be something that would happen in like 2 years down the line, not like literally right now.
But have you used your torches yet?
I've used them today.
Okay.
Or at least the ones that would expire. I still have my bank of 10.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I don't want to hear it yet. Go actually play before you forget. Yeah, I have no options, and all you've done is the basic ones. I do think it's crazy that they actually gave this out. I didn't really expect this anytime soon at all. The question for me, I guess, from a whale perspective, is like, will they give us 2 from now on, or is this like is it the 2 just there so in case you saved it? You know what I mean? I think that will be interesting to see.
I think I heard that, or someone, again, this is probably hearsay, someone said that they are going to be 2 from now on, which personally I was super surprised by because I thought it would just be like a special thing. But
what I mean, like, will they sell us 2 is what I guess I should
I see.
Right. It'll always be 2. You can always redeem 2, but will they sell us 2 other rolling bonds? That's what I'm interested in as a whale, right?
Right.
As a free-to-play, though, I think you and I saw Phoenix Master tweeting about this too. Like the idea of like, when do you spend your otherworldly bond? Like what? Not only when do you spend it, but on what? Right? That's like a really interesting question for someone who will never. I mean, not never, but possibly never get another one, right? Because we have no idea if they'll do this again next year. I saw a lot of people saying, of course they will, but like after playing Fae for 8 years, I don't have any faith that they'll do it consistently, right? Like I feel like it's like on their whim essentially. So it's interesting to see like. Meta wise, or not even meta wise, just like where do you spend it at? Like where do you see the investment being worth it?
Yeah, because I was like looking through my options and like I was actually not really like thinking that a lot of these options were something that I would like gain value from. Like it was literally 2 months earlier or even 1 month earlier, I would have been like, oh, I totally get the Setheth that I could not build, or oh, I totally get this dagger. But like I already have them now, so like and like sure they don't have like the most optimal kits, but like they still work pretty well. And so yeah, I've just been like trying to think of what I would actually want to use this otherworldly bonds on. Yeah,
the 2 best cases for it are legendaries and offensive mythics. I mean that's they're the thing is that they're good for so long. The problem with Summoner Duels is everything is so cutting edge all the time. It's hard to get a unit that is really meta relevant and be able to use them like that. Setheth is kind of the 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 exception, not the rule.
Actually, as you said that, I just remembered Summer Thor I could get.
Yes.
And she's been meta for so long. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
That is another unit. And all of the skills you can get on her are very good. Like she's an excellent option for
including
summoner
an echo
duels.
skill too. Yeah. It's expensive. Yeah, she's definitely a really good option.
Well, if she decides to appear, that's something I'll definitely consider.
Yeah, I think that's probably that was probably one of the biggest parts of the Fate Channel for me, just how crazy of a gift that was. The fact they gave us more than 10 orbs also was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. The Luminaries banner is good but bad because it has bankrupted me twice already. So that's kind of not the best, but good and bad in the same way. And then I do love that they keep updating holoforms. Them just adding those quality of life treatments is really nice.
Yeah, we have 3 options now if you...
Yes.
Oh, that's going to help so much with this upcoming Micaiah legendary holoforms.
Yes. I'm so excited for that. I've been wanting to play with her since she got her refund. I just haven't because I'm holding out for the good kit.
Yeah, right.
I had looked at her and I thought, she's pretty good. And then I actually got her into the Sims. I was like, oh wow, this unit really hits.
Yeah. She's technically the fastest unit in the game too, which is insane.
Yeah. Folks have been using her somewhat in Summer's duels this season, and she's been putting work. Yeah. I mean, I guess among the competitive players, it's been known that Legendary Micaiah is kind of cracked, but I feel like it's definitely been slept on in the general player base. But yeah, now is the time, I guess, to see what you can get for your Legendary Micaiah. And, if you've been having trouble with a lot of the saves recently, well, Legendary Micaiah could be a solution for that. I say could because, the snakes are very, very powerful. So, yeah.
She's going to save you from the saves? Is that the thing you're going towards?
Oh, gosh.
Yes. But yeah, speaking of saving from the saves, I heard from a little bird that Athos is actually super cracked as long as you can get him to double against all these save units.
It's ironic because his whole kit is built around one-shotting and it's terrible. You don't do that. You just ignore that whole aspect of his kit and you go, you know what Athos is really good at? Having ridiculously high stats and doing crazy high damage. And so you just go, hey, I need to double. And that's it. Once you double, you start killing things. Speaking of propaganda, I told Mysticat I would do this earlier. So Mysticat did his run earlier for SD, and he was using a minus attack plus 0 Athos. And he almost killed a plus 10 Rhea with Athos. Just saying. That miracle saved her life. So,
okay, now hold on. You're gonna brag about an almost kill?
How many other units are taking Rhea down to 1 HP at plus 0 with minus attack? I'm just saying, that's crazy.
Was this shield fire Rhea?
Yeah, it was Don't Hurt Me. Yes, it was shield
Don't
fire.
Hurt
It was a
Me.
plus 10. It was a plus 10 Rhea.
I was about to say,
also,
Attune Micaiah, when we did our testing, was just absolutely destroyed that Rhea.
Right. We'll talk more about Rhea later, but she does have a resistance weakness if she doesn't have shield fire.
Yeah.
That's her big weakness. But the other thing was that Mysticat was using this really, I want to say old school because that's kind of not true, but it's fallen off a little bit with the Soren Ball, right? Because of Tree Bro, and so Athos was playing the save tank, the far save, as well as a nuke, and the only reason why he died is because Don't Hurt Me had a plus 10 Emblem Lin with full kitted out maximum build Slice with Sparrow, and it killed Athos on the 5th hit. And this is a plus 0 Athos, right?
Right.
Plus 0. I'm just saying he's better than people are sleeping on this guy. That's all I'm saying. And the reason why I don't blame them, it's because the defense slot for E3's defense is actually the worst thing ever. So I don't blame them. When you see that, you're like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then you conflate that to Athos himself, which it's not really his fault that they designed it so poorly, probably on purpose, but still. But yeah, this guy hits like a truck, definitely. Definitely Goose Friend is his best build by far too.
Yeah, like Athos, I think one underrated thing about him is that because he's so bulky, he can survive the retaliations against a lot of these saves that have a lot of power in that retaliation. But by him being able to survive, he can have a follow-up attack, which generally is able to get through a lot of these saves defenses. And so, yeah, I do think Athos is kind of slept on. Not like completely, because I know like there's definitely a propaganda going on here with Athos.
A little bit.
But yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think the other thing I will say is like right now in the meta, if you've been playing a lot, the big thing is debuffs, right? Debuffs are extremely powerful. Start of turn debuffs, mid-turn debuffs, just debuffs everywhere. It's one of the reasons why Ymir has become so prevalent in the meta, because she can mid-turn cleanse debuffs. Athos is one of the units who does not care about debuffs, and that's such a big boon for him, just being able to get hit by debuffs and getting stronger from it, because he has that Omni Unity effect. And so I think that's like one of my favorite things about him, is not having to worry about bringing a Toon Micaiah or Ymir or something else and like him missing a kill by a little bit, because he's actually getting stronger from that. And that's like one of the things Mystic Cat did actually. Like I did in my testing too actually on the first day, was like bring out Legendary Robin, like the OG Unity buffer, and then stack him with Athos, and it really makes just like it's a ridiculous amount of stats you get, really. So I think that's like one of his other big things. I think the biggest problem is just like they made him built to one shot, so like a lot of his cool effects don't activate,
right?
Which just kind of sucks. But I do think he is a pretty consistent nuke. Him and Micaiah I've found to be very consistent, and the other ones, it like more depends on a matchup, I guess. But like definitely against the snakes in particular, I really like Athos and Micaiah.
What about Ayra? We've been talking a lot about Athos, but there was another unit on the banner as well. I feel like Ayra definitely occupies a lot more attention of the two. I personally haven't seen a lot of Ayra gameplay, but I'm curious to see what y'all hear.
You know why you haven't seen a lot of Ayra gameplay?
Why?
She's fantastic against every save except the snakes. And I mean,
really?
What do you do with that? They're two of the most prevalent units in the game right now. So she's fantastic against everyone else. She absolutely smashes things, and then the snakes come along, and you're just, I'm gonna do nothing now.
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Ayra gameplay, and I've seen her do pretty well against pretty much everything. I don't know. I haven't really seen that many weaknesses for her. Sometimes she dies to counterattacks. I've seen that, where like that can definitely happen. I do think she's just really good. Like I think she's probably the best melee nuke, probably second best melee nuke in the game, or maybe first. It goes back and forth between her and the birds, obviously Restfelger. I think those are like her main competition personally. And Restfelger is more tanky than Ayra is for sure. But I think she's a fantastic unit. I think honestly between the two of them, you'll hear much more about Ayra than Athos overall, just because not only does she tank bust pretty well, but she also has support that is like unique support and powerful support, while Athos' support is like it doesn't work. So
right.
I definitely think that's
what are you seeing with her versus the New Year's Neathogre? You're actually seeing her defeat that unit?
Oh yeah, my member chat literally like for the first 3 days she came out, they would just spam me. Like I would just get pings all day, just like, look, Ayra killed the snake, and I'm like, yeah, guys, you showed me this morning. Like, I feel like it was that meme where the guy's like brings his thing to like show and tell, and like, you've brought this 7 times.
7 times, yeah. Jimmy Neutron.
It was like that. Yeah, they were just like, look at Ayra kill things. I'm like, cool, right. Awesome.
I was playing with her last night. She did nothing. It was yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I've had pretty good result, and she has Brutal Tempest, which means she's kind of like a Cav in some ways, where she's just like, I'm in, I'm out, which is pretty useful.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think she's she's really good. I wish that they would have given Athos the follow-up support, but you know, what can I do? Yeah, between both of them, I think they're really good, and that banner was really good as well. I don't think it's up anymore though. I think it's gone by now, right?
It's gone.
It is.
Yeah, but that banner was really, really good. And if it wasn't for Hero Rises, which we'll be talking about later on, like it's probably one of the best places to sink a lot of orbs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, both of these units, very, very strong. Even if the 7th or 8th reinforcement slot for defense didn't like pan out the way we thought it would. That doesn't deny that these units are definitely very much powerful in the current meta.
Are we going to get the next defense mythic and we're going to be like, oh, that's what they meant to do with the defense slot? Is that what's going to happen here?
I don't think they can though, right? Because like
I don't get it right now. I don't even understand the design decision. It's really strange.
It's so bad. Like, who thought like just having the defense unit spawn on ARO player phase 3rd turn is a good idea? Like, it's just so easy to snipe and then just don't deal with, basically. Like, you have to have this reinforcement slot back on the team instead of an ambush spawn. Yeah, I don't know.
The only way I've seen it, and I say effective, and keep in mind it's just the most effective, is to basically use it like corner Edelgard. So you have the unit that you hope is going to stall out the other team, like a Neathogre or something, and like, oh, here, poof, there's a unit you can't kill.
Sad.
It really is. Like, I think that's the best use I've seen so far, which is just, yeah. I keep on waiting for Infantry Pulse to come up with something, and he's like, this is it. This is how you're supposed to use it. But
yeah.
I honestly think they didn't really care about, like, I think with the 6 slot edition, which was like the last major AR shakeup we had, right? It was on both sides really good. Like, offense got a big power upgrade, but then you also got Saros, who not only, was a nice upgrade to your team, but also added all these new AI mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this, I think they're just like, please play Eat the Raid's offense. like we will give you this unit that will make Eat the Raid's offense even easier and ridiculous. Technically, it's on defense, but who cares? It's mostly for offense. Here you go. Please play Eat the Raid's offense. I think that's what it really was.
And that unit is Ninja Lucina.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing. I honestly don't think they care about defense right now. Like, they're just like.
I mean, clearly they don't. Ether 8's offense has been like super easy for like, I want to say 2 years or something like that. Whenever like the not line meta ended and the safety fence happened, like it's been like super smooth sailing since then. And now safety fence is level 2, so you can even wait for Bolt Tower or like do hit and run and like. Yeah, I don't know. I guess IS just wants to make ARO dead, basically, essentially. And dead in like it's so easy, it's boring way, not in like it's so hard, it's challenging way.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's their goal, but I think like the problem is that when it comes to Fae, like most of the content when you actually play the game enough is like PvP content, right? It's Eat the Raid Summer Duels Arena, right? So I think they're trying to make it so Eat the Raid's offense is like the easier game mode to get into. Like, look at all the tools we gave you. So even if you're not very good or if you're new, you can still do well in Eat the Raid's offense. Maybe that's their goal. Because I could see Arena just has the I want to say paywall, but it's not really a paywall. It's the orb wall, right? That if you're a new player, you cannot overcome that orb wall no matter what, except for spending money, right? Of getting merges. And then Summer Duels is like a whole nother beast, right? That's not, no new player is going to be able to pick up Summer Duels within like a week, right? Like that's something you have to like actually understand how the game works, start putting teams together, right? You could play casually, sure. But like realistically, you're going to get stomped. So I think Eat the Raid's offense maybe is that route they're trying to push people towards. Like, hey, look, it's not that bad, guys. You can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's it. That's why they keep just giving us more and more safety fence upgrades. They keep giving us escape ladder upgrades is what I meant. Right? Like that's the only thing I could think of.
It's such a shame,
I think
though.
I think the better way to do that would have been to divide it into the vault versus the non-vault. Yes. And I thought that was a good thing altogether. You know, so it makes it that you could put safety fence 2 in the non-vault, and you know that's a lot easier for folks and lets them play around more, and then leave it off for the vault folks because I mean those are the gluttons for punishment who want a challenge.
Is it a challenge though? Vault of Heaven.
Oh no! I said they want a challenge.
No,
I didn't
want
say
a
they
challenge. Want a challenge. Yeah.
Right, I see.
I think they should do what they did originally. Like I know DTM wasn't around back then, but like when they first introduced Eat the Raids, right? There was only 21 tiers, and that was it. And getting to tier 21 was like impossible. Like it was so difficult. It took a long time, right? And then once people start getting into tier 21, that's when they start introducing, Vault of Heaven, higher tiers, right? 28, and then Vault of Heaven, stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of late, but maybe they could do that. Like, hey, this is like Ultra Vault of Heaven.
Vault of Heaven 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Right. And this
Crown
is
of Heaven.
Right. This is like, hey, you got rank, I don't know, top 3K people get to go into this exclusive game mode, or exclusive part of Aether Raids. And it's just hardcore every single day. Like, they could do that. Would people like that? I'm sure some people would like that. Some people would be miserable. But I think that's a better option than just diluting the entire Aether Raids experience, right? Where it's just so easy.
Because like,
I don't take 3K, take 1K. I mean, I'd say top 1K is probably the group of people who would enjoy that.
Right. I think you're right, but I think the problem is matchmaking, right? Like, if you make it too small of a pool.
That's true. Yeah, no, you're right on that one.
Well, I mean,
That's
it's defense. I mean, it's not like synchronous like Summer's Duels is. So like, you can still match. You have 1,000 options you can roll for your defense or for your offense match. So it's not like they have to be on at the same time and match at the exact same time. So I think it would be a lot more freer if they do top 1K.
You just end up with fewer replays. I mean, that would be the thing.
The thing I'm worried about is the social aspect, right? Because like top 1K, what will happen is you'll start getting matched into the same people after like maybe a month, right? You'll start seeing a lot of the same people. And then it becomes a matter of like, oh, hey, I'm friends with you. You're friends with me. Can you tell me how this defense, like, where's the trap set? Like, that's how old Aether Raids are. Literally, year 1 Aether Raids offense, that's how it was. Because there was, like, no one in Vault of Heavens. It was, like, when I got into tier 21, there was less than 50 people in there. I think it was, like, 36.
I didn't know this. Wow.
I remember, because I'm not going to say the streamer's name. There's a certain streamer who was like, let's share everyone's defenses with where the traps are and stuff so we can, like... And then it became very toxic. So I could definitely see that being a problem. So like trying to make it like, I think 3K is like more reasonable where like you can't really do that as much. But I don't know. Maybe FaZe becomes so casual that wouldn't happen. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, you've seen the defenses I've run into the Vault of Heaven, so maybe we're already there.
You find the most crazy defenses. Level 1 Alphonse in the corner.
I know,
like
right? Can I just say, I'm so disappointed with Arena. I'm so mad at them.
It's gotten way worse.
They were doing really good when they released tickets. Like, things were going really well. And then they decided to bring armors back. And the increasing bulk of armors has just made that it feels very, very pay to win right now. And there was a time where it wasn't. You could eventually get there with the units you had. And you had to slowly build up teams, and you could. But right now, it's just, unless you've got a duo, it's really hard.
Yeah, Arena's ridiculous.
This is why you should vote for Ninja Lucina in the voting gauntlet to get kickstart your plus 10 duo.
Yeah,
say that out there.
Plus 10.
Absolutely.
I think that's like, because every single week, if you're in my members chat, you will hear me complain about Arena and Arena Assault every single week because it's become so ridiculous. Not only are you running into those armors that are super bulky, but they have emblem rings. So you're getting jumped on by, in the lower tiers, maybe Marnie. In the higher tiers, you have a Nidhogger flying in your face, or a Duo Rhea, or something like that. And then you have Duo Lucina with Lin Ring, or Celica Ring, or like, it's just so ridiculously toxic. And for me, I know I have the persona of the whale, but when it comes to Arena, I'm very budget. I do not invest orbs there. So, until last year, I was playing with Legendary Ike still. So like, trying to fight these armors with these old legendaries is like a nightmare. Like, absolutely. Like, it's so ridiculously annoying. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always considered Arena to be my least favorite competitive mode, so that hasn't changed with all these new armor, the armor infestation, I guess we can call it. But yeah, it's like the bulk.
OG Arena was about resource management. And I mean, that really appealed to me. I loved that. Like, you could slowly build up a team over a year or two and slowly work your way into tier 21 and actually compete. And that was really fun for me. That appeals to me.
I loved it. That that's what got me into competitive, right? That first year, 1 year, like I'm managing my feathers. There's only so many feathers. I have to put it where I need it for merges, and then slowly investing orbs in the legendaries over a year or 2 years, and then finally having your legendary at plus 10 felt so good. It was like, this is my homie. This is the guy who's gonna carry me in a minute. And then that's completely gone. Like now, like it's just out the window. But yeah,
yeah. Now we have to. Oh, go ahead.
I think the one thing they could do, I think some people will get mad at me for saying this, but I think they should just turn off emblem rings for defenses in arena.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, who would get mad at you for that?
I know one person who will get mad at me for saying that off the top of my head. But,
well, that's one. That's the only one, though.
So it's a vocal person, but yeah. Because I think the difficulty in arena is just kind of dumb. Like, I get if you have all the newest toys, then sure, it's not a problem for you because you're running around with Duo Lucina and Duo Rhea and all the snakes and stuff. But if you're not, man, whew, it is rough. Even if you're just running in the Marnies, it's annoying.
I mean, the problem with that is just the scoring system being restrictive to the point where you can't, like, you have to use, like, plus 10 units, right? Like, if you didn't have to, like, you could just roll out the most recent units you got at, like, unmerge or whatever and just go to town, and it's a lot easier. But because of the scoring system, you're restricted to units that you have at plus 10, which makes it a lot harder. And that restriction, I think, is just at the root cause of the problems I have with Arena, and have always had with Arena.
It didn't start off that way. Like it was meant to be that you could summon a new unit off of the new banner and roll them straight into Arena. And that is just, it's a far cry from that now.
Yeah. Definitely. Now we have to face plus 10 dual Rheas with that miracle, which is super fun.
Oh man, that unit.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about Valentine's.
Yeah, let's talk about Valentine's. Dual Rhea is kind of cracked, huh?
It's funny because she is and she isn't. She's actually a very, very expensive unit, which is kind of crazy to say. Yeah. I guess it depends, right? If you're going to use her for E-Thread's defense, I think Near Save is probably her best role on E-Thread's defense. And in that case, you don't really need to invest that much into her. She kind of just comes out the kit, and you could pretty much make her work, right? But when you want to turn her into a far save, oh my gosh, is she expensive, right? Like you're swapping out her A skill most likely, her B skill, her C skill for higher ground, which is super expensive. And if you don't do that, let's say you just slap a far save on her and call it a day. If she loses that res check, she explodes. All of her DR and her special, the DR in her special is tied to res. And so if you don't have that, she just vaporizes, which is crazy.
I remember seeing that on you guys' when on your summoning session, like at 1 a.m. or whenever you're doing those things. I remember rewatching that, and that was I could not believe as soon as you get her, you out-res her, she just absolutely dies. It's crazy.
Yeah. So like as we mentioned before, Shield Fighter is a must if you want to actually make her reliable as a far save. Otherwise, like you have units like Attuned Micaiah, who is super, super popular and super prevalent, will just absolutely shred her. And maybe after this Hall of Forms, even Legendary Micaiah, and who knows how many other high-res units.
The
most powerful nuke in the game, Athos.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Definitely true. The other thing too is like if you want an optimal Rhea, not only are you getting Shield Fighter, you have to go get DC Echo. So
because you're dishing her perf skill, so you actually can use an Echo now, which is super funny.
She gets real expensive real fast. So she is very powerful though when she's at plus 10 and fully decked out. She's a very horrifying unit that no one wants to deal with.
But here's the question.
Yeah, and the most...
How long will she be good? Because that if you're going to invest that much in her, and she's going to be good for the next, let's say 6 months to a year, I mean, honestly, I'm going, okay. I mean, I can see that kind of investment. But if she's going to be good for another month, that just hurts.
Yeah,
the question with that, though, right, is when do the nukes come? Because we have been waiting for the new nukes, like the new tier of nukes, I'll say, since right after CYL, I would say. I've been waiting that long for them. They still haven't arrived yet. So it all matters how long that gets delayed. Does it get delayed another month and then all of a sudden these new nukes come out and they just blow everything up? Or is that 3 months or 4 months, right? We don't really know per se. I was expecting around the ninja banner. That didn't happen. So I'm not really sure what banner would do that. Usually Valentine's has the next level of power creep, but that, I mean, it did, obviously. It's a good banner, and don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a nuke banner. So I don't know what banner would be the nuke banner, essentially. Maybe Summer? Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Rhea already has, like, weaknesses to current nukes that are very popular. I know we can mitigate that with Shield Fighter, but like even so, Rhea herself does not have like that much damage on retaliation. So someone like Atune Micaiah theoretically could either like double or like get quad support with like Marissa or something like that, or like we could have like another high res unit like Sather or something with support. Like I feel like she's already in a precarious, or not precarious, that's the wrong word. She's already in a situation where like she has a lot more counterplay than like the Snakes had on their release. And so like obviously the miracle support is super, super strong, and she herself having miracle is really strong. But if like our current nukes have methods to deal with that, then I don't know. I don't know if that is a unit you want to invest into. It's just too risky as an F2P player personally. Like giving her shield fire, distant counter, and all of that. Yeah.
When you do give her that though, she is the best Parsave in the game. Like I would definitely argue that. It's just the investment, right? So as a free to play, I agree. If you're free to play, you're better off just picking up a Hector or the Snakes, and like you're good enough, right? Like the difference between Snakes at base level and optimal Rhea isn't such a big deal that I would go that hard to invest into it. Like if I have limited resources, like a free to play, right? I would rather invest that somewhere else. But if you're a whale or like a decent spender, then I don't think it's like completely out of reason for you to do it.
The exception is if you're looking at Aether's defense.
Right.
And I do think that is, if you're an Aether's defense fanatic, as a near save, I think she's good out of the box and stick her on your team. Don't invest in her and you'll be really happy. But yeah, that's
100%. 100%.
Yeah, Rhea is definitely a lot more powerful in defense than in Summer's duels, unless you have that optimal kit, I feel. Yeah. Thankfully, hopefully, I say this famous last words before I do my run. Most Rheas you should encounter should be base kit.
Every Rhea you run into plus 10 shield fire.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How many of those exist in the world, though? I really wonder.
I mean, I know Don't Hurt Me has one.
Yeah. Well, like
of course, Don't Hurt Me does.
Yeah. I think the thing is like trying to find like a skill bank who can do that, and like it's really Grimma, and even with Grimma, you still have to go get DC Hector. So like it's just rough. It's expensive.
Yeah. It's gonna be 2 fodder banks. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Which is really expensive, especially for an armor. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. We do have other units outside of Rhea, who I would probably be safe to say that don't have as much impact as Rhea does, but are still very interesting in their own right. I think, Edelgard, I really love because, Edelgard fan and all of that. I personally just wish she did not have healing. She would have literally been perfect with that.
I wouldn't go that far, but
well, there's other things, but I mean,
perfect for DTM. I mean, that's really what you're talking about. Like,
right.
For that strategy, it's such an Edelgard thing. I don't know why they put healing on her. That just
other Edelgard has healing like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
But they're telling us they're never going to do this Fury 5. That's what they're saying.
I know. It's so sad.
I want that so bad. Like I think Fury 5 would be so cool. And they could add more effects to it now, right? Like it's not like back in the day when Fury 4 came out, which was like 2019 or something, right? It's been that long. Like 6 years worth of power creep on a Fury skill. Yes, please.
Yes.
It'll take a percentage of your health. It won't take a set amount.
Put you at 50. Always put you at 50. That'd be kind of crazy.
Always 50 at 2 combat, 25%. Oh my gosh, that would be so good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Edelgard, I think the other thing I was kind of like poking at is the fact that she doesn't turn off defensive specials always. It's only after the second combat, right? Of the foe too. It's not off of Edelgard. It's off the foe. Which is not
really
my favorite. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Satoshi is one of our friends, so I've seen, I don't know how many videos of Edelgard popping
replays,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen other people as well, like send me videos too. And obviously she does really well once you get her started. I think, but when it comes to me, the most impressive thing about Edelgard, it really isn't her sweeping capabilities. It's actually her bulk, which is maybe that's why they gave her healing.
I see.
Because every time I see her actually go into combat, it's not her killing things. It's just her surviving ridiculous, like, things she shouldn't be surviving, essentially. And I think a large part of that is not only the amount of bulk she has in her kit, but the fact that she constantly is debuffing, right? She's debuffing after every action, at the beginning of that, right? I start of turn all the time. And I think that's what really helps her out a ton. It's kind of like Nidhogger almost, right? Like Nidhogger, like you, at start of turn, she sabotages. And then whenever you move her, she sabotages, right? Edelgard does the same thing, essentially. And I think sabotage is like really a buff. I wouldn't want to say it's slept on, but it's really, really powerful. And I think you have to kind of keep that in mind when looking at her.
We've just forgotten about it because it's cleansed so much.
Right. And so when you get the ability to apply it like nonstop all the time, I think it really helps you out. And so I think that's where I'm more impressed with her at, is the bulk standpoint, and that she can kind of be this like bruiser tank who can just keep fighting and killing and fighting, much more than I'm impressed with her as a Gale Forcer in particular.
I see.
Yeah.
She puts out a lot of damage. Like
she does.
She hits really hard.
The problem is just Shield Fighter, right? Like Shield Fighter is so ridiculous. Like she turned off Shield Fighter like immediately turn 1. I think she'd probably be like one of the best. She'd be like one of the best units in the game.
She'd be too strong then.
She probably I mean, especially with everything else she has.
Right. I mean, if that like ignore Shield Fighter effect only happened on her first combat in that entire map, I think that would be really, really cool, personally, instead of like being on the second or not first combat of the same target. Like, that's just super weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it nerfs her in SD. Other than that, I mean, I think she's fine. If I'm using her as a Gale Forcer, I just consider her a 2-action unit. Like the first action is going to be, the burnt pancake that you that first one that goes bad. Second one is going to go great. Then you have another hit.
Yeah.
So
I guess with a lot of units nowadays, because like a lot of the units just can't run Gale Force anymore. Like they're not Gale Forcers aren't actually Gale Forcers. Like they're just extra action units.
They're
which
Felix
is kind of crazy.
Or Sharena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like no one actually uses Gale Force except for follow-up units now. Which is man, that's so different than how it used to be.
Yeah.
Especially with this current banner too, right? The Valentine's banner. Everyone except for Rhea has extra actions.
Yeah. Which is a very unique theme for Valentine's. That's not normally a Valentine's thing.
It's a passionate murder Valentine's.
Yeah, I guess. Claude.
I just know that Cordelia is very happy.
Which Cordelia?
The murder has stopped of Cordelia.
Oh, right. Yes, I see what you mean now. Yeah. I know you were really high on Claude when the trailer first came out. What are your thoughts on Valentine's Claude nowadays? Is it still about the same?
It's about the same. The problem is we're recording this right before my SDS run. I'll be doing that probably tomorrow night, which is like the real test, right? That's like where you really get to see the nitty gritty of like where a unit is strong and weak. Because like on paper, there's one thing. In Ether Raid's testing, even in Sims, right? You can do all that and you can get a general feel for the unit. But until you're like in the middle of a fight where all the debuffs are being thrown around and all the crazy nonsense is happening, you don't really get to see like a unit's full potential. So I don't know how good exactly he is, but whenever I use him, he feels good, right? He feels solid. The extra action's really nice. I think gravity is really slept on. I think it's really slept on. when you know how to use gravity correctly, man, is it crippling. Especially when you tie. My highest recommendation, if you're going to use Claude in summoner duels, use him with New Year Snake or somebody who has anti-warping. Because if you do that, gravity's value goes up real high.
Yep, absolutely.
It goes a lot better. Yeah. So that's where I'm kind of at. Also, Prime is kind of, you gotta get rid of Prime. You gotta get some more damage on him.
Yeah, swap to like Sly, Swift Sparrow, or something like that, and get some more true damage, because as Joel said, true damage is the way of the game right now.
It is.
I feel like that's the advice for every unit. Get rid of their A skill, put on Sly. That's what, they're a savior? No, still get rid of that, just put on Sly.
It's just, true damage is just insane right now. It's because of flat DR being insane, even more insane, right? Like we've gotten to the point where like sometimes you don't want specials anymore. Like you don't want specials to proc because you do more damage without the special proccing, which is crazy.
That's nuts. Yep. That is nutty.
I was watching somebody's video and they like had their Brave Crom attacking 4 times and it was like 0 times 4, no damage. It took off his special and all of a sudden he was killing everything. I was like, oh my god. Just unequip the special. You're better off. Oh my god. It's nuts.
It is pretty
Or
nuts.
run Miracle.
Miracle. Honestly, Miracle is kind
everyone.
of underrated. Yeah, that's a special.
Which is, please don't run Miracle. I don't want to run into it. No more.
Yeah. I haven't heard a lot about Dimitri, honestly, when it comes to this Valentine's banner. I think he's just really, really super niche because, like, there's just a lot of, I feel, better options in his class of being like a melee cav nuke or hit and run type unit, something like that. I just haven't really been hearing much conversations about him personally.
I plan on testing him tomorrow in SDS. He's going to be on my Capline team, so I can see how he performs there. I think the problem is like that. Like even when he came out, I said like he's very niche. Like where do you really play with him on a Capline in ST? Like that's like the real place because he has healing again, so he can't be your Gale Force initiator because he has healing. Because of course he does. So I think like that kind of eliminates that role for him. So then he's in a follow-up role. But then you can't really use Wings of Mercy follow-up. You just have to use like 4 movement run-in follow-up, which is like, okay, sure. And even then, that's not really capitalizing on his strength, right? His strength is hit and run because he gets the action after Kanto. So I think that's the thing. And then the other thing is the competition, right? When it comes to competition, there's a lot of it. And best in class is Sigurd and Crom. And it's really hard to be better than Sigurd and Crom because Sigurd has 5 movement and Crom literally steals everything from Sigurd. So it's just like, how do you beat that without Dimitri being able to do that too? And his unique cleansing thing is cool, but it doesn't work against the snakes with Essence Drain, which makes me sad because I think that would have given him a niche, like a better niche. You know what I mean? Like having something like that, or having him just maybe if it just cleansed everything, which would probably be broken, but that would have been probably another way. Just another counter against visible bonuses would have been nice because Nurgle got like deleted off the map essentially.
Poor Nurgle. It's all right though. It's all right.
He'll be back. Once the snakes are dead, he's back. Like instantly.
Actually,
it's like
true.
Elamine.
Yeah.
Him and Elamine are just waiting for their nemesis to die, and they will come back from the grave.
I don't know. I've said that about Elamine so many times now that now I'm like, maybe Freyr's never leaving.
Freyr has to die. I made a joke about this earlier. I was like, you know what's going to happen? They're going to nerf Freyr, and then 1 month later, they're going to release Sephiroth, and it's going to be Freyr exactly, but better, and I'm going to love him because it's Sephiroth and not Freyr.
Actually true, though. It's okay if my favorite characters do that.
What is it with Dimitri's in general that they have such a hard time finding a place for them, though? And it's... I love this unit on paper, and just in practice, he's okay. Right now I'm running him on Infantry Pulse Pasta, which is, I mean, he's a lot of fun there. But overall, I mean, he just, like, where do you put him? Like, even in Arena Assault, like, the thing you want in Arena Assault is someone who can kill snakes and Rheas, and he's not really doing that. So, I don't know. He's a fun unit, but, I mean,
I feel like
all I got.
It's sort of because Dimitri's been typecast into the melee cav position or melee nuke position, and there's just so much competition in that right now and even back then that's just like super hard to stand out. Yeah,
I feel like they don't have. I feel like that's the problem actually with Dimitri, is that he doesn't have like that one thing that like Edelgard does. Like Edelgard has her thing she does, right?
Right.
And she does it really well.
Rage of Storm.
And then Claude kinda does. Like he has like the gravity and he's kind of bulky. Not the best thing, but that's kind of where he's at.
In general range too, so that's a lot easier to make work as well.
Right. And then with Dimitri, it's just like, what does Dimitri really do based off his version? Like, it's completely different on every version, right? Like, base Dimitri is like, I'm a melee nuke, kinda. And then Brave Dimitri is like, I'm a tank. And Legendary Dimitri is like, I'm a speedy tank, but I also have lots of true damage and I debuff. And it's like, okay. And then you get Winter Dimitri is like, I'm a Vantage unit. And you're like, okay. And then you have this one who's a hit and run unit. It's like, it's just very, like, all over the place. Like, they need to...
But they always pull up short. Like think about Winter Dimitri and or not Winter, but Summer. Like he was in the middle of the Axe Calves, and it was. I mean, what do you do with that?
Like, I think he was the best in the group.
He was, but they weren't like even then they weren't fantastic. Like they always seem to pull up short. Same thing with like Winter. The Vantage thing was great, but they didn't really give him enough to have staying power. And they put this one out in the middle of a whole bunch of calves and in quote calves that are amazing. And you know, he doesn't like Ayra turning off defensive specials. They would have given him that. I mean, that's game over. That unit's used everywhere now. But this
I 100% agree. Like I feel like they need to like give him a role and like give it to him. Like that's his thing. I think being a melee nuke could be cool if they give him the power to be that melee nuke, right? Like give him, like make him just do ridiculous damage. Like okay, cool. Like that's his thing. He does ridiculous damage and just kill things. Like I'd be fine with that.
I will never not be mad about this. But even look at Legendary Dimitri and the fact that they gave him an AOE. And it didn't work in conjunction with his E skill because it lowered the opponent's HP down too low. Oh my god, I guess
that's just the microcosm of the Dimitri's design, like just being all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that the funny thing is that right before we got the reveal of Valentine's Dimitri, I was talking to people about how I wished Winter Dimitri had an extra action because it would actually make him a lot stronger because then he could go and kill something, pop Vantage, and use that as a shield, right, to not die immediately, and then kill another thing, get out. And then they give us this, and I'm like, they did it! And then I'm like, wait, he's hit and run unit. Like, darn it! So close, but we're not quite
so
there.
far.
But yeah, I think he's still a good unit. I just don't think he's not competing with the Ayras and Railspeggers of the world.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
And maybe that's what they meant him for, is that you put him in the backup spot, you know, and after you know the entire team gets wiped out, he can go and do cleanup real quick. But I mean there's a lot of units that can do that, and that's, obviously Lucina's probably the best at it.
She's very good, yeah. Well, it's okay. We'll get Duo Dimitri, and he'll definitely be really, really good, and he won't be a kid either, right?
I was about to say it'll be young,
right?
Duo Dimitri.
Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. Do like Summer Dimitri or
he'll be paired with Edelgard, and he'll be good.
Yes, exactly.
If they give us Duo Dimitri and he's a kid and he's with Edelgard, I will literally quit the game. I will write a video and say I quit. Like I'll be so mad. I'll be so done with this game. I'll be so mad. Oh my god.
Well, it won't happen this year, so
next year. Next year is the danger.
IS is watching you, so
not
surely, it'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they saw my bingo board this year, and they're like, "We're not gonna hit the bingo board. We're gonna hit everything around it." I'm like,
yeah. I think the only other banner we have since the last time we talked is the Engage banner, as we've been talking about. And I feel like the only unit that's really worth talking about, maybe Nell to a certain extent, just due to the insane value she has as fodder, and actually being used somewhat in Summer's duels, surprisingly. But other than that, it's like Yunaka, basically. That's clearly the star, and not just because of the cat, but that is also a big component of it as well. But she hits decently hard, I think. I know you ranked her very highly on the nuke tier list, I think, right, Joel?
I haven't been able to play with her nuking ability at all yet. So that's I'm curious how close I was to being in reality there. I love her intangibles. You know, all of the stuff that's not nuking is incredible with the pass and everything else. So
yes.
I know I always feel like PM1 watches my videos first, and whenever he sees something I say that he doesn't like, he makes sure to call me out on it. So, like, I said that she wanted potent disarm, and specifically in his video, he said, "Do not put potent disarm on here. She needs full disarm." So, I'm really curious about that. I still think I like potent better, but I haven't gotten into testing. It's been crazy. Like, the entire family's been sick, and they haven't been able to let me play with Yunaka. I mean, come on, guys. Jeez.
I think. Go ahead.
I think her nuking's pretty solid. Like, it's not like god tier crazy, but it's solid. And I haven't gotten speed taker on her. That's the problem. I think speed taker's probably her best speed slot. I think that's where she really just pops off really hard. But like you said, everything around her is what's so cool. Like, I'm sure you've all seen it now. The duo Hathrin button, Yunaka teleports across the map. But also just like with Hector, she's really good, right? With Robin, with Ice Lock, anything like that. And then just naturally on maps, there is terrain. So like, I feel like her A slot is like not even a condition. It's like, hey, you exist. Go warp wherever you want and do whatever you want, and then come back later on.
It's a waste of words. I mean, honest to God, it is a waste of words. It should just say you can teleport within 2 spaces of the space 2 spaces in front of you, or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to happen though. Someone's going to be an SD, and there's going to be that one niche thing where suddenly she can't warp. And I mean, it's like the death blow that they're about ready to go into, and nope. Yunaka can't move now.
Yup. Yeah. Always happens. Always. I think we were doing some testing with her on the night of, and we were using Windsweep. And Windsweep was actually putting in so much work. It was crazy. It's crazy because Windsweep doesn't give any stats. It doesn't give any true damage. But just the ability to have your special proc at specific times, and also the fact that you're not taking damage from like against the snakes. Made her actually get kills against snakes, which was pretty impressive. Anytime a nuke can kill a snake with Hathrin support, I'm pretty sold on them. Like, okay, that's good enough, right? Like that is the breaking point where I'm like, oh, you're usable. And when you add that to all the other things she has, I'm excited to play with her tomorrow. Hopefully she's a lot of fun. I still haven't figured out what team I'm going to put her on yet, but I'm sure I'll figure out something.
I think I've been seeing her a lot on teams with like not only just like the dual Hathrin grass combo, but like Lorather to take advantage of the save like disruption. I mean, obviously she would be super strong there, but I think I will share the sentiments that I do think the nuking is solid, but everything around it is just like so much more interesting. And yeah, I think just fundamentally, she's just super, super fun to use, which I always really, really do appreciate. And also, you mentioned Ice. Brave female Robin is back this SDS. Not just because of Yunaka, of course, but I'm going to say it is. She's actually back. Most used CYL 8 units so far in the data as of recording. And yeah, this just goes to show Awakening is supreme. So there you have it. We're gonna get that remake.
I don't know about genealogy. That. It's like 1 day of data. I think way off at the same. Ice is really good on this map though. Like really good.
It is really good. Yeah.
This is kind of the dichotomy of IS, right? I mean, you've got units like this and Layla, who I think are both very well designed. Like they have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. It's nice. Even if you look at Rhea, like DTM was saying, you got units this is a unit that has counters out right now. And then you get units like Snakes that just, they were too overpowered. Then you get units like Dimitri, who was just a bit underpowered. And they have a hard time getting it right sometimes.
Oh, all the time. Like we've made the joke a million times. There's a Dev 1 and there's a Dev 2. One of them knows what he's doing. The other one does not. So I think Dev 2 is definitely making the Snakes for sure. I don't know. I think Yunaka's fun. I think the other unit, of course, is Nell. I don't know. She's okay, like from a combat unit, but I think the real reason why you're pulling Nell, if she's not favorite, obviously, is the value. Like, holy crap, what were they thinking? Like, they really want warping to die. Like, oh my god.
Apparently.
Yeah.
They're like, that Catria ball meta in SD, which was so much fun. Like, no, that's too much. We don't want that anymore. It's like, okay, wow, thank you, IS, very much. Have a bunch of gatekeepers ruining the fun of everyone. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think it's more like they're like, this Felix guy. No more cell covering. Like, because like to me, right, Barricade, when we saw that skill, we knew how insane it was immediately, right? Yeah. And I think if you would have asked any of us in this chat the next time it was going to get reran, not one of us would have said it would have been on an arcane weapon.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Like, if you asked me, I would have said it would have been reran for a year, like at all. Right? That's how high I thought they were putting the value on it. Like, they were trying to bait us to pull into it, right? The fact that they give it that quickly, it's only been 3 months, not even, and on a rearmed hero, it's just like, oh my god, okay. Right, that's sparkable, and it has 2 sparks. Like, technically you get sparker twice, but still. That's crazy. That just tells me they want Barricade in the meta. Like, they are trying to shove it in there as much as possible.
I had someone in my comments, so they were asking me if they should give Nil and just hand all of her fodder over to Alir for arena purposes. And at first I was like, no, that's not a very good. Wait a second, and it's it's perfect for her. Like but there's a lot of units that's perfect for her. Like she's an amazing fodder unit.
Even Dual Lear too. Like Dual Lear is just like, hey, new kit, awesome. Like it's really good fodder. And also for all the people who think dragons don't get stuff, lies.
Okay.
Let's see. We got 3 arcane breaths, 1 beast breath, and dragons have gotten 2 new beast skills in 3 months. I'm just saying.
So the problem is, whenever IS hands dragons things with one hand, the other hand, while you're looking at that one, is about to punch you. Like that's the way the dragons work. Like it is just so up and down. And like, oh, here, this great thing, and here's a unit that just slaughters all dragons. Like, well, okay.
Yeah,
we could use another one of those, please.
No, I mean, we need a beast killer. That's what we need to get rid of.
That's exactly what we need.
You know what we really need? We need Shinon to come in, and he can just kill beast and dragons and just be racist against everyone. I'll take that. Let's bring in the Shinon meta.
That's how the snakes are going to die, because of Shinon.
Bro, that would be the funniest thing ever. Like, if they do a Tellius banner, Shinon's like an attuned unit, and he just comes in and he has slaying against beast and dragons and hands out that. Like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, both of those, I think Raffle, I keep calling them Raffle. I don't know what their name is. They're just bad. Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who really like the Fel Xenologue, and okay, not a lot of people, but I know a few people who like the Fel Xenologue, and they were so waiting for this unit, and my heart broke when I saw them. I was like, oh no. So,
it feels like Fallen Male Corn again. If you remember back in the day, right? We got Fallen Female Corn. She was an insane Omni tank when she came out. Then 1 year later, we got Fallen Male Corn, and I'm like, man, what is this unit gonna do? And his whole new thing he got that was crazy was he got guard.
I remember,
and that's what Nell's like. Our Raffle's like, my crazy thing is I have guard and I can give out guard. And everyone's like, bro, did anyone tell you guard died 2 years ago? Like,
it's all about scowl and special jump now.
Guard is so bad right now. So it's like, man, like that is not what you want your unique thing to be.
Definitely.
No.
I've been seeing a lot of folks try to cook things up with Gris, actually.
Yes.
I've actually been seeing some, maybe they're scam showcases, but there have been some convincing screenshots of him being able to do a lot of damage. And we're just waiting for that one whale to completely give him all the super skills to make him work. It's something like Summer's Duels or something. But I think he has potential, but it's going to be tricky because just nukes in general are really hard right now to get through the saves. But he does have Brave, so that is one thing that he has.
Yeah, Brave doesn't do as much. Well, sorry, Brave without true damage just doesn't do much, and that's the big thing. Is no true damage hurts him so badly. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we make fun of sham showcases, but I'm pretty sure me as well as all of you guys, I love a good sham showcase. Like if that's what you're putting them together for, then you go do you, and I will watch it 10 times and enjoy it every one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think he does have potential. Like he's a good. I don't think he's has potential to be a meta unit, but I think he has potential to be a very good unit. Mm-hmm. If you can get some guaranteed follow-up attack in there, you get him quadding, and you give him Slime Mirror and Resonance. That's quite a bit of true damage by itself, even if it's not in his weapon, which means he can be pretty solid. And he does have high res, so it means he can do well against units who are res dependent, right? Like who are dependent on res checks essentially. But I have seen a lot of scam showcases of him just like killing snakes and killing stuff, and I'm like, hey, can you show the rest of the people on that map, please? Like, we all know it's back there.
Yep.
Well, he needs the tome version of Speed Taker. That would help a lot.
Will we get? You know what? We still haven't gotten a new style yet, which is crazy. I was expecting to get one by now, but we still haven't gotten one yet. So maybe we'll get something like that. Maybe we'll get some kind of new style that really makes Grist pop off, like some kind of mage style. Which, if we get Micaiah, that could be the case. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know what she'd like. Radiant style.
Radiant style. Your damage gets applied to an AoE instead of a single target or something. I don't know.
You get effective against everything. That's how you kill a snake.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think the only thing we need to talk about, of course, the most important thing, in my opinion, is this upcoming A Hero Rises.
Right.
Or I guess it already happened, but the voting gauntlet will happen soon. So this year is a little bit different. Instead of a top 4, where the top 4 voting gauntlet, in that progress through the voting gauntlet gets on a banner, it's all of the 8. And we do have the top 8 now. And so the voting gauntlet is just going to be who's going to be our freebie. With the top 8 currently out, what are your thoughts on our lineup right now for the banner?
I guess the first thing before even that real quick is like, do you guys like that all 8 are on the banner, like the actual rate? Or are you more of a fan of like the old school?
I personally like it because it guarantees Lucina is here.
Okay.
And I know Satoshi's been like picking at me to make this statistics video, but statistically, the individual rate of getting a specific unit of this compared to the top 4 we had previously is literally like, to get a single one is like 5 orbs on average. That's the difference, which is literally just 1 pull difference. So I don't see like having 8 units over 6%. I see that as better than 4 units over 3% plus a 3% pity breaker rate. Right. So I do like the top 8 change, not just because it guarantees Lucina won't be subject to RNG.
What about you, Joel?
It depends. So the problem is, and so as a banner, I don't mind it at all. I think it's just fine. I like that I like the way that they're expanding that you can get all of them, so that the voting gauntlet doesn't mean as much. And they kind of did that with the losers banner last year. But this is fun. I think this is going to frustrate a lot of people though. I think if you look at getting an individual unit, it's harder because you got particularly in red and blue, you've got more units on that banner. So that
statistically, it's only 5 orbs difference between getting a specific unit on this banner versus the old AHR banner with the top 4, which is just 1 pull difference on average.
Yeah, we've been quoting stats at people for a long time. The problem is the actual frustration factor when you get the other unit. It makes it a not as fun experience. And so it's not pulling for.
It's not as fun. I definitely agree, but it is not that harder, basically.
And you're always going to get the person who says, "See, stats don't work. I pulled 7 Ayras and I was going for Hector.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, because, that one sample size equals statistics. But that's,
right.
The problem is I don't think this is going to go over well with the community in general. So we'll see. I could be wrong. This is a really good banner though. Like on my tier list that I did, I think all of these were highly rated. So I think the community did really well. I will say, like, if you are going to merge any of these, like if you want to merge Lynn, now is the time. Like that, this is basically fire sale for her because she is just that one unit there. Well, Lucina's a little different because she's normally on a regular pool banner, but the difference between Lynn on a legendary versus Lynn on this banner it's like 500 orbs difference. It's a lot.
Well, yeah, there's that, but also like when Lucina comes back, she'll be on a double special hero banner, and we have no idea who she'll share with, right? So like
that is yeah.
It could be someone. We have a few 4-stars she could share with, which would be pretty.
And my apologies. I don't want to downplay Lucina's value here. Like, I mean, we just talked about like if you want easy mode in arena, like there's your merge project right there. The only problem is she's colorless, and colorless has such bad rates.
It's really bad.
There.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
my
rough.
gosh.
It's rough.
And I keep on waiting for them to fix it, and I keep on updating, the number of units in the pools, and it keeps on getting. Well, it stays about the same. They like green at the very bottom. Yep. So as far as number of orbs to summon,
I don't think.
I'm going to be the. Oh, good.
No, you go first.
I'm going to be the negative Nancy, I think here. So okay, first of all, the one thing when it comes to the actual banner itself, I think we did, it did great here, and I think having all 8 units here is fine. But if this becomes like the thing we follow every year, right? I think there's a chance that we get a year with the Fallen Edelgard in it, right? Something like that. And so not being able to eliminate that unit from the banner is horrifying to me, right? Like imagine if we had this banner, but it had, I don't know, I'm gonna say some unit, and everyone's gonna get mad at me for saying their favorite unit. But some unit, Legendary Male Corn. Legendary Male Corn's on this banner, and now he's sharing with Lynn. Now green is tainted. Like, like oh man. And not being able to get rid of that from the banner is scary to me. Now, obviously, that we don't have full control of it, right? The voting gauntlet is RNG still, but typically we've been able to do that. I don't think we've ever failed to get rid of like a really bad unit off the banner, right? So I don't like losing control. But the second thing really is like the community coming together and the community interaction around A Hero Rises has always been really fun. And I think we're going to lose that with this. I don't think people are really going to care as much now because the unit will be on the banner. Like, yeah, you want to get the free unit you want, obviously. But I feel like just like the same thing with the midterms with Choose Your Legends, when you lose that like thing that causes friction in the community, you lose a lot of the motivation and energy in the community. And even though it's not necessarily like positive energy, I think it creates a lot of like community coming together and talking and working together on things, and we're going to lose that. And so I really don't like that part of it. I like the friction. I think friction is good overall. Not always, but most of the time. I think friction creates a lot of good things going on. And so removing that friction from A Hero Rises is not my favorite.
I will agree with you on the friction part. I do think that the community aspect of it will be definitely lessened, which is definitely a downside. I don't see that people caring as much to be at the voting gauntlet because even though it is like a free unit, like the banner does exist that you can spark, so it's not as important. And so it is a shame that we lose that. I don't know. Maybe there's a way. I guess there was a way with the losers bracket that they could have made everyone theoretically happy. But I guess, I'll be interested to see like what they do because each AHR is somehow different, or at least recently. Like last year, we got the losers bracket, which was a huge surprise, and now this year's top 8. So I wonder what they'll do next year when in regards to like the unit choices and stuff.
Like next year, we're going to increase the rates by 1%, but you don't get a free hero anymore.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that, honestly.
I would. I mean, I think a lot of people get mad. But I mean, who knows what they'll do, honestly. Like, it's going to be... No, it'll be the 9th anniversary, so I have no idea.
10th anniversary, they just have 4 banners each with 4 units, and they will be the top 16.
No, it's 10th anniversary. They take the winner, and the winner you get for free, and they also get their own banner, and they're the only unit on the banner.
Oh my
Come on,
gosh.
IS. Come on, IS.
That
You haven't had that since, like,
so
Surtur.
insane. Yeah.
Surtur and Yogurt banner. We need that again. Like, it's just the top two. Top 2 are on the banner together, and that's it. Oh, that'd be so nuts. The rates would be insane.
It would. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
the other thing to keep in mind with AHR is it's actually one of the lower banners in terms of how much money it makes. So that's the other thing to remember is that most people, they're really just after either just the first spark or just the free unit, depending on how free to play you are. So it's a lot of folks that seem to think that this is the banner that everyone dumps their orbs in, and that is not the case.
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's mostly hardcore players.
Yeah.
I get those plus 10s and stuff, or like the fodder, but usually plus 10s.
Yeah. And there's also the aspects where like there are people that save for AHR, so you don't generally generate like orb pack sales as much as maybe some other banners that get, surprise units that people might want or something like that. So yeah, I guess that's interesting.
This is what you do, IS. You put a pack of orbs on there that has the 9th place, the 10th place, and the 11th place on there. And you go, these guys didn't make it on Hero Rises, but you can buy them now for $60. Like, I'm just saying. Dude, they should let me market. I'd make them so much money off such ridiculous things.
Wow. That's actually supreme bait.
I was gonna say something, but I would be very good at like, let's sell everything out of everything except for the kitchen sink. We're gonna get money. But instead they don't sell us anything. So
yeah. Who are you supporting for this voting gauntlet to win?
For me, it's Hector. Like that's it's fodder potential there. Like
okay, this
he's
is going to be the
for
Civil
me,
War because I'm going for Lucina, and that's most likely going to meet each other first round.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna lose. I mean, Lucina's gonna win that, but yeah, that's.
I don't know. Voting gauntlet
I don't
gets
know.
screwy.
Hector's my pick.
I'll be voting for Lucina too, but Hector was my second choice, so I'm not happy.
I hate that they're going up against. Yeah, that's.
I was hoping they'd be against like somebody else. That way, if like one of them lost, I could swap to the other one. You know what I mean? And now it's like, oh, one of them will win, right? And then the next round, if they lose, I'm like stuck with whoever just happens to be there, and I'm like, oh god, you know what I mean? Not that really one person influences stuff, but still.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I guess a good question is, who do you not want to win? Is there anyone on here who you're like, this is my least favorite of the 8?
Okay, I will be controversial. I do not want Lynn to win because I already have Lynn, and I don't need another one.
Oh my gosh. Wow, DTM.
I'm sorry. Like, I have no need for another copy of Lynn. Like, sure, Speed Taker would be nice, but there's not a unit. There's not a lot of units I have that would appreciate Speed Taker. If I free summon a Yunaka, that would be another thing. But that didn't happen. So,
what about you, Joe?
Mythic Snake. And
Mythic Snake.
Listen, she's a great unit, but she has no fodder that I want. So she doesn't help me in any way.
Oh, that's interesting. I was gonna say Tamara, but now I think I agree with you. I think it is Mythic Snake for me too. For me, Tamara, like, she has obviously really good fodder and she's a duplicator, but I don't really need any Lagoose friend right now. So I'm like kind of like, like that's fine, I guess. But like, now that you mentioned it, I think Mythic Snake's probably my least. When I want the least. Hector is Hector and Lucina. Like Lucina for merges, Hector because like that fodder. Oof, I can I can get that factory going.
Yeah.
It's the other reason I hate that Hector is sharing with Snake because it obviously there's not a hit to how many Hectors I get really when you look at it. But the thing is, I would like to get another unit there. So that's because Ayra has great fodder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know I'm gonna end up with like a +10 Nidhogger and like a +1 Hector. I'm gonna be so mad. You know what's gonna happen. It always happens.
Yeah,
always, every time.
Desire sensor is real.
Yes.
But yeah.
Go
ahead.
My prediction is that Nidhogger actually beats out Lynn though. because I think everyone's going to assume that Lynn's going to win, and they're going to go support somebody else.
The engaged special.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I mean, who knows? Voting gauntlets are always super random. Like, there are ways to like try to influence it, but let's be real, those aren't really ways at all. But yeah, I guess me and Oblivion here will spread the Lucina propaganda. Because this is my channel, I can say this to y'all. Do support Lucina in this upcoming voting gauntlet, or join Hector's team and sabotage him. That's also an option.
Hey, Sharena won CYL. If Lucina wins AHR, I'm just fine with that. She's an amazing unit.
Yeah, we'll shake hands under the table for that.
Oh yeah, we're fine.
But yeah, before we end it off, are there any final words, propaganda, etc. you want to say before we close the podcast?
Athos is amazing. You should be using Athos. Lynn, one of the best Lynn Ringer users in the game. And he's a bonus unit in SDS right now. Like, just all wins.
That is true.
I'm all smiles ear to ear. Like, this is it's been a great month here. So I have no notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, great month of FEH. Super exciting times, and yeah, see y'all on the voting gauntlet on the battlefield. I expect y'all to be there with me. And yeah, thank you too, as always. And let us know down in the comments what your favorite new addition to FEH was this past month. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.